Good evening. Can I please have a stand for salute and prayer afterwards, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bless us, Lord, as we gather today for this freeholder meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so we may work together for the good of our community. Help us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Amen. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Pursuant to the 2019 bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, time shall be set aside on the agenda for receipt of public comments. Public comments will be received with respect to agenda items prior to board consideration of resolutions to be adopted. An additional opportunity for public comment will occur later in the meeting. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons may speak once per public comment period. I direct the Deputy Clerk to enter into the minutes of this meeting, this public announcement, and the advance written notice of this meeting. Freeholder Hobson? Here. Freeholder O'Connell?
Here.
Freeholder Stain?
Here.
Freeholder Tyler?
Here.
Director Folia?
Here. At this time, I'll be looking for a motion for the approval of the minutes of November 13, 2019 public meeting and the November 13 conference meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Now we're going to move on to recognitions for the night. We don't have any.
Amendments, approval of the amended minutes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Approval of the amended minutes of the June 26, 2019 public meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to have comments on agenda items only. Moving on to the public comments. This portion of the public comment is limited to items on tonight's agenda. Anyone who wishes to speak on any other topic will have a chance later on in the meeting. Please note that this is a public comment and your opportunity to provide us with input and feedback. This is not a question and answer forum. Each speaker may only come up once per public comment portion. Do we have anybody that would like to speak on anything on the agenda? No one? Okay, this time I'll close. Okay, resolutions. I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution H1 by unanimous consent. Roll, can you please do a roll call?
No, we have to do one first.
Oh, by itself first.
Freeholder Hobson? Yes. Freeholder O'Connell?
Yes.
Freeholder Singh?
Yes.
Freeholder Tyler?
Yes.
Director Folia?
Yes. I would now like to make a motion that we approve resolutions H2 through H18 by unanimous consent.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Freeholder Singh.
Thank you, Director. I'd like to move the resolutions H19 and H20 by unanimous consent.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Freeholder Hobson.
Thank you, Director. I'd like to move resolutions H21 through H24 with unanimous consent. 34.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Questions from the press?
Sorry, guys.
No? Nothing? Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll take comments on non-agenda items. So if somebody would like to just come up and make a comment?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Frank Pinto, 420 Island Road in Mansfield Township. There's a number of people in Mansfield Township and a growing number of people that are concerned with the Tower Gate affordable housing litigation settlement that Mansfield recently entered into that will place a maximum 488 unit development directly adjacent to Crystal Lake Park, one of the county's natural resources. And the township, in their infinite wisdom, also waived a number of land use and zoning requirements, including environmental impact statement requirement, including traffic study requirement, certain landscape buffering requirements, etc., as part of that settlement document. We understand that the township has a certain COA obligation. We're not against that. What we are against is the placement of this proposed development directly adjacent to the park, especially with no requirement for the developer to prepare an environmental impact statement. I recently retired from the DEP after 33 years. This goes against everything I ever worked towards. There are known threatened and endangered species at Crystal Lake Park. I don't think they're aware of property lines. So I'm sure there is some issues that would need to be resolved. We know from 2012 GeoMap DEP studies that there are wetlands. We are awaiting the DEP's letter of interpretation regarding wetlands, which we know will control some of the development. But we feel that this is absolutely a bad location to put such a development. We also know that in 2005, the county appraised and attempted to purchase the property from the developer who owned it back then, and then tried again approximately a year later, and that failed. Mansfield Township Committee just tonight stated that they tried in 2016-2017 to ask the county to see if they could purchase the property, and they stated that the county could not at that time, primarily due to budgetary constraints. Crystal Lake Park, as you're well aware, is one of is Mansfield's natural resource gem, and it's one I would say the flagship wilderness park in the Burlington County Park System. The developer is currently looking at either Florence or Bordentown for sewer. We know that the county has to ultimately approve an amendment to the wastewater management plan, and we know the state has to as well. So we ask that the county look at if there are any existing possibilities to not make this development happen, at least not make it happen adjacent to a wilderness area that will certainly, this proposed development, if implemented, will be an eyesore to both Mansfield Township residents and county residents as a whole who utilize that park. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you do me a favor? Would you see the young gentleman right there in the black coat in the front row here, Joe? Give me your contact information, please.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, sir. Come on up.
Bob Town, 2454 X Factory Road. I just wanted to reemphasize what Frank said, but also add a few things. As a resident of Mansfield, been on our environmental commission for 15 years, and I can't speak for the environmental commission as a group on this because we haven't discussed it yet. But I'm sure my sentiments are probably there is also that this is a gem, like you said. Also, back in 2008 and 9, the county freeholders, you guys, your predecessors, had a plan called the Growth and Preservation Plan. And in this Growth and Preservation Plan, we got together, a lot of the townships got together and had these vision groups, the county planners and the county, and our township planners and a lot of us residents. And we laid out a COA plan, laid out where our development was going to go. So I'm kind of surprised personally, and a lot of folks that live around are. You don't want to see this gem that the county has spent $14 million buying and millions of dollars in the trail network that's being put in there. If this development goes in, instead of seeing the sunset over a wooded area where these photographers are all the time, you're going to see towering apartment buildings. And like, I just want to reemphasize, COA is a noble thing to do. We need to do that. But there are better places for it. This is a gem in our northern Burlington area. It's going to have trails that go all the way through to Pemberton. And folks will I think want to see, especially where it starts at the Delaware River Heritage Network Trail Network, they want to see that as pristine as possible. And I have some documents that were, I'd like to give to each one of you to look at, that are old, they're from 2008, but it shows that our Mansfield, we were taking steps. I don't think I'm upset with our township council and our planners a little bit, but I just don't understand why this is like the third attempt at a builder's remedy suit. We've had one attempt, and then we had one that caused a problem. I just don't know why we don't, as a township, plan a little better, because it's something we're all required to do. So I made my sentiments known to them tonight also about that all through the years that why is this still an issue? So I think Crystal Lake Park, although I know this is private property alongside it, it's contiguous with it, and the threatened and endangered species, which are multiple, utilize that area and go back and forth, and they don't know that they're going to be limited. And there are documented species. I believe there are several documented species on that property itself that people have seen over the edge, because there are parts where you can stand and look over into that contiguous property, that private property. So, I just want to emphasize that. Thank you.
Yeah, the only comment that I want to make is one that I made earlier in the year. This is why it's so important to have a master plan for the town. Master plan lays all that out, okay? And it's also important to be working with COA, getting yourself individuals that, a lot of your COA has now been placed in the hands of the courts. So once you get in with the court and you get a master, we've gone through it in my town, and actually your master plan should be reviewed every 10 years. So I'm calling for a master plan review of my town. That might be something that you want to talk about. Relative to the DEP, what the DEP he talked about, it's vital that if you're taking a look to stop any development, you have to identify those species. So I would be working to try and call attention to whatever box turtle, whatever it is that you're looking at. Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mary Richter, 400 Wood Street, Burlington City. I want to thank the Burlington County freeholders for leading the library system in its mission to enrich lives by providing opportunity for learning, growth, and personal development. Freeholder Hobson, who's the liaison to the library, and I've spoken to about this issue, stated during her campaign, I understand what it means to overcome financial difficulties. So some positive changes have been made in the library practices, because all customers now have access to public library computers regardless of their fine status. But several times I've gone to the library commission meeting to make this an official policy. Ocean County, Mercer County, Camden County, Mount Laurel, Willingboro, all those libraries have unrestricted internet access as part of their official policy. That's written down and can't be changed at whim by the staff of the library. Burlington County Library also should offer a true fine amnesty week. October 27th to November 2nd was promoted as Amnesty Week, but it required donations of food items for every $2 that was removed. An Amnesty Week without restrictions would help library users experiencing financial difficulty. Please ensure that any barriers to library service are removed for all taxpayers of the Burlington County Library System.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting and move on to freeholder comment. Freeholder Tiber.
Thank you, Director. I don't have anything for tonight. Happy Thanksgiving and enjoy with your families. Be safe.
Freeholder Connell.
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I would like to thank the people that took the time to come out here tonight. It's a holiday week. People's minds are on a lot of other things, and we appreciate you guys taking the time to come and speak to us. And as my colleague Freeholder Tiber said, I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and a great holiday. Thank you. Thanks, Freeholder Director.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Get home safely.
Deputy Director Singh.
Thank you, Director. Be safe, enjoy the food, wine, and drinks. Happy Thanksgiving.
I want to thank everybody that came out this evening and made a comment. We will follow up with our associate here and try to get back to you as soon as possible. I want to thank again all the directors, all the deputy directors that make us look good every day here. I won't be tired of saying it until December 31st. I wish you and all your families a blessed Thanksgiving and have a good evening. Safe trips home.
So
Motion for adjournment?
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.